Dear learner, I welcome you all to the program PG Certificate in Industrial Safety. I am Dr. Sanjay Agrawal, Associate Professor in Electrical Engineering, School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University, and I am also Program Coordinator of this program. Dear learner, in previous session we discussed function of measure, multimeter and what precautions we should take when we use these instruments. In this session we are going to discuss 21 golden rule for the electrical safety, which is very important when you are working on any electrical appliances. Then we will discuss what is a transformer, what is a MCB and what are the functions of these two appliances like transformer and a MCB and what safety precautions must be taken when we are working on the transformer and miniature circuit breaker. So first of all we are going to discuss 21 golden safety rules which you have to follow when you are working on any electrical appliances. A safe work environment is not always enough to control all potential electrical hazards. You must be very cautious and work safety. Safety rules help you control your another risk of injury or death from workplace hazard. If you are working on electrical circuit or with electrical tools and equipment, you need to use these 21 golden safety rules. So one by one we will discuss all these rules. So first rule is what? Avoid contact with energized electrical circuit. Please do not make fun of this rule if you are already know this, and remember that if something bad occurs, you probably would not have second chance. So this is very important rule that you have to follow. Second rule is what? Treat all electrical devices as if they are live or energized. Don't treat that you have already switched off the circuit and you start to working. So what you have to take in your mind that you treat all electrical devices as if they are live or energized. Third rule is disconnect the power source before servicing or repairing any electrical equipment. The only way to be, you must be sure. Rule number 4 is use only tools and equipment with non-conducting handles when working on electrical devices. Rule number 5, never use metallic pencils or rulers or wear rings or metal watch hands when working with the electrical equipment. This rule is very easy to forget, especially when you are showing some electrical part pointing with metallic pencil. So always be aware about this rule. Rule number 6. When it is necessary to handle equipment that is plugged in, be sure hands are dry and when possible wear non-conductive gloves, protective cloth and shoes with insulate sole. Rule number 7. If it is safe to do so, work with only one hand, keeping the other hand at your side or in your pocket, away from all conductive material. These precautions reduce the likelihood of accident that result in current passing through the chest cavity. If you ever read about current passing through human body, you will know. So remember, work with only one hand. Rule number 8. Minimize the use of electrical equipment in cold rooms or other areas where condensation is likely. If equipment must be used in such areas, mount the equipment on wall or vertical panel. Now, what is rule number 9? If water or a chemical is spilled onto equipment, shut off power at the main switches or circuit breaker and unplug the equipment. Never try to remove water or similar from equipment while appliances are energized or line are energized. Rule number 10. If an individual comes in contact with a live electrical conductor, do not touch the equipment, cord or person. Disconnect the power source from the circuit breaker or pull out the plug using a leather belt. Tricky situation and you must be very calm in order not to make the situation even worse. Like in the previous rules, always disconnect the power first. Rule number 11. Equipment producing a tingle should be disconnected and reported promptly for repair. Rule number 12. Do not rely on grounding to mask a defective circuit, nor attempt to correct a fault by insertion of another fuse or breaker, particularly one of larger capacity. Rule number 13. Drain capacitors before working near them and keep the short circuit on the terminal during work to prevent electrical shock. Rule number 14. Never touch another person's equipment or electrical control devices unless instructed to do so. Do not be too smart. Don't try your luck. Rule number 15. Enclose all electrical contact and the conductor so that no one can accidentally come into the contact with them. If applicable, do it always. If not, be very careful. Rule number 16. Never handle electrical equipment when hands, feet or body are wet or perspiring or when standing on a wet floor. Remember gloves and shoes. You have to use always. Rule number 17. When it is necessary to touch electrical equipment, for example, when checking for the overheated motor, use the back of the hand. Thus, if accidental shock were to cause muscular contraction, you would not freeze to the conductor. Rule number 18. Do not store highly flammable liquids near electrical equipment. Rule number 19. Be aware that interlocks on equipment disconnect the high voltage source when a cabinet door is open, but power for control circuit may remain on. Read the single line diagram and wiring schemes carefully when you are working on any electrical appliances. Rule number 20. Always de-energize open experimental circuit and equipment to be left unattended. Rule number 21. Do not wear loose clothing or ties near electrical equipment. Act like an electrical engineer. You are not on the beach. So these all are the 21 electrical safety golden rules that you have to keep in your mind when you are working on any electrical appliances or you are repairing any electrical appliances. So these, if you are following these all 21 rules, so you can avoid any hazard or any unpredicted cause of accident. Now we are going to discuss safety precautions for different electrical equipment. As I already discussed two electrical equipment like megar and multimeter. So again we are going to discuss the safety precautions for the different electrical equipment. The objective of this procedure is to specify minimum mandatory requirement and advisory guidance for identifying and controlling hazard to ensure zero harm with regard to operation maintenance and testing of electrical equipment. The established documentation for the elimination and control of hazard is henceforth referred to as electrical safety procedure. So we are going to discuss different testing procedure for different instruments. So one by one we will take example of the any electrical equipment. So first of all we are going to discuss safety precautions for the transformer. So first of all we have to understand what is a transformer. A transformer is an electromagnetic device which is used to change the voltage or current from one level to another or transfer energy from one circuit to another through a common magnetic path at constant frequency. It can be designed to step up or step down voltages and works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. As you know, a transformer has no moving parts, so it is called a static device. So that's why the efficiency of transformer is always high in comparison to the all other electrical machines. Transformer consists in its simplest form or two or more coils of insulated wire wound on a laminated steel core. When an alternating voltage is introduced to one coil called the primary, it magnetizes the iron core. An alternating voltage is then induced in the other coil called the secondary or output coil. The change of voltage between the primary and secondary depends on the turn ratio of the two coils. So transformer can be classified into many categories. So it can be classified as step up or step down transformer. It can also be classified as current transformer or potential transformer. So basically this current transformer and potential transformer are the instrument transformer. Then transformer can again be classified as single phase transformer or three phase transformer. So it depends whether you are working on a single phase or three phase. Then transformer can again be classified as two winding transformer or auto transformer or three winding transformer. Transformer can again be classified as power transformer and distribution transformer. The electrical transformer is very powerful device and an essential source of energy in any industry that runs operations using the aid of power, but there are several risks associated with the device. So it is very important to take all important safety measures to prevent any equipment damage, electrical fire or fatal injury, and to ensure that operations remain up and running at all times. The transformer safety tips can be followed for any model of the electrical transformer regardless of the make of the transformer. So what are these transformer safety tips? So first tip is check the electrical transformer prior to installation for any burning smell, faulty parts or abnormalities in continuity. Second point is what? Any maintenance work must only be undertaken after the equipment is de-energized and tagged out and the circuit is shut down. This is necessary to ensure that there is no leakage of current or continuity between the horse current and the system. Third point is the maintenance crew must be provided appropriate personal protective equipment that is specifically designed to ensure safety when working on electrical transformer with a high voltage output. No modifications should be made to the electrical transformer over current protection. The overcurrent protection mechanism of the circuit and conductor must be set to the manufacturer's standards. Next point is transformer grounding should be in place at all times. It prevents the accumulation of static charges and protects the binding from coming. Next point is the transformer must be inspected periodically to ensure that no foreign nuts, bolts or spare parts have fallen into it. The electrical transformer and all its components must be kept free from moisture at all times as any contact with water can prove to be hazardous. A caution signage must be put up near the electrical transformer, warning people to stay away from it so that workplace hazards are averted. Anyone handling the electrical transformer must be familiar with the maximum use voltage requirement. If any irregularity or abnormality is observed in the functioning of electrical transformer, it must be shut off and all the cables and power cord must be unplugged before analyzing which part of transformer is malfunctioning. Keep spare nuts, bolt and other objects away from your work so that they don't touch or fall into the transformer. Be certain that your transformer is grounded, which will prevent static electricity and protect the coils from contacting the enclosure or core. Always keep your transformer and all of its components dry and free from any kind of moisture or water. To protect unskilled onlookers, set up caution signs that warn people to keep away from danger. Now we are going to discuss what safety precautions you should take when you are using the another electrical appliances or equipment, that is a circuit breaker. So as name is indicating that this circuit breaker is used to break the circuit or to off the any electrical circuit. So when dealing with the circuit breaker of any kind, safety is vital for every task, large or small, since electricity is involved. Circuit breaker in themselves are safety devices because they work to cut off the power to a building when there is too much of an electrical current flowing through the wires. However, there are safety precautions that can be taken to prevent any electrical problem or harm the people. There is also a product that can help prevent electrocution when working with the industrial circuit breaker. All personnel working on industrial circuit breaker should be trained in electrical circuit breaker and switch operation safety. Safety is the number one concern during repairs and maintenance of electrical circuit breaker to help prevent an issue or problem that may occur. All personnel should always wear personal protective equipment when working with the industrial circuit breaker. There are also industrial circuit breaker locks with the help to lock the circuit breaker while it is being serviced so that it does not accidentally close in the middle of the process. Special care and precautions should always be taken because of the high level of risk involved in working with the industrial circuit breaker. Now we are going to discuss inspection and testing for the industrial circuit breaker. The proper inspection and maintenance of industrial circuit breaker should be taken into special consideration because of their high level of importance. Circuit breaker are involved with routine switching and help to protect other equipment. If there is a dust or other material on any moving part or contact on the industrial circuit breaker, then problem can arise as a result. Depending on the type of the circuit breakers, some require little or no routine maintenance. However, the operating conditions that surround the industrial circuit breaker can sometimes require that maintenance be completed more often. A minimum of once per year for an inspection of industrial circuit breaker should be required, and every 3 to 5 year routine trip testing should be performed to ensure that industrial circuit breaker are working properly. Tools, cords and electrical fittings should also be examined before use for any damage or wear that can cause harm or increase danger when working with the industrial circuit breaker. Everything in the box should also be clearly labeled to make repair and maintenance an easier process. The proper training and equipment as well as inspection and testing of industrial circuit breaker is vital for safety of everyone. Dealing with electricity is the dangerous to begin with, so it is necessary to take the proper precautions. Anything that involves working with the electricity is something that you need to take precautions with. Circuit breaker are no exception. They are safety feature in and of themselves, as their purpose is to shut off power when too much electricity is present. This prevents a power surge that could lead to fire for destruction of the appliances. Circuit breakers are a vital piece to the electrical system of building, but not following these major safety tips when working with them can lead to more damage than they will prevent. So following are the safety tips for the working with the circuit breaker. First is switch off all electrical input power before you do any work on the circuit breaker panel. You need to turn off the main circuit breaker and ensure that panel is isolated. This needs to be done prior to even the simplest of procedure done to breaker, including inspection for worn out breaker. Use personal protective equipment. If there is even a slightly possibility of an arc flash hazard, you should take precautionary measures and wear personal protective equipment. To identify an arc flash hazard, take into account if there are circuit parts exposed as well as overall design of the equipment. Also look into when equipment was installed and if it was installed properly. Selection of suitable circuit breaker as per requirement. Ensure that the breaker you choose is complete with the existing panel. To do so, check that it has the appropriate amperage rating as well as matching wiring. If you are uncertain about the type of the breaker circuit you are needing, contact the experts of the breaker outlet. Next point is checking of tools, wire and new parts. When replacing or adding a new circuit breaker, you should take a moment and inspect that all the tools, wire and new parts are free from damage. This quick inspection will not only ensure the connection will work properly, but they will also save you time in the long run. Next point, be careful or if any part is still hot. Even when the main breaker is off, the main bus bar has the potential to still be hot. The same can be true for the conductor leading into the panel. Always take precautionary measure and use proper tools and procedure to get the job done. Next point is inspect before turning on the circuit breaker. Once the circuit breaker has been replaced or installed, a thorough inspection of all new parts and connections should be performed by the licensed technician. Failure to do so could cause damage to the entire panel as well as all electrical component of the building. Never just flip the breaker to see if it works. This is not the proper way to inspect the everything was connected appropriately and could lead to severe damage. Next point that you have to remember, you have to perform regular maintenance. Another major precautionary measure that should be taken for the safety of buildings, circuit breaker panel is performing regular inspection and maintenance to ensure that all the breaker are in good condition. Breaker will get old and worn and should be replaced accordingly. Many issues can be found during this inspection and further damage can be prevented if found early. So dear learner, in this particular session we have discussed 21 golden rules for the electrical safety, which is very important when you are working on any electrical appliances. If you are following all these rules, so you can avoid any unpredicted failure of the appliances or hazards. Then we also discussed what is a transformer, what is a MCB, that is a miniature circuit breaker. We have also discussed the function of these appliances like transformer and MCB, and we have also discussed what safety precautions must be taken when we are working on the transformer and miniature circuit breaker. Thank you very much.